Hey, this is René. In this video I want to talk about the Range Breakout Expert Advisor, the latest version, because I made a lot of changes. It is much more better now, it's more flexible. Also, before I start introducing the new settings and inputs, please do not forget that you can still get this Expert Advisor completely for free, sponsored by my partner brokers. So if you use one of my partner brokers, you can use many of my Expert Advisors for free. It is linked in the description. You can read more on my website en.bmtrading.de. But let's now have a look at this Expert Advisor. So you probably know the Range Breakout Expert Advisor. So here in my MetaTrader 5 strategy tester, I will just simulate this quickly to show you how it works. So the Range Breakout Expert Advisor can be used to trade strategies like the morning breakout, London session breakout. There are multiple names for this, and many of these strategies are super old, and I did not invent this. It's been around for so many years. But essentially what this strategy does is I'm currently running this in a 1 minute chart. You can see in a specific time range, the Expert Advisor finds the highest and lowest point and always updates the highest and lowest point if there is a new one. And then once we hit the end of this time range, we will then place two orders. You can see it here. We can we place one order at the top of the range and one order at the bottom of the range. And with my current settings, I do not have a TP, and but I do have a stop loss, and the stop loss with my current settings is at the other side of the range. And this is just like how I currently trade this strategy. If there is a breakout, this or one order will be triggered, and with my current settings, the other order would be deleted. But there are so many different functionalities you can use. You can also trade multiple orders or trades on the same day in the same direction or different directions. This is a very flexible EA by now, and I will tell you how the settings look like in a second. But first, let me show you what happens here. At the end of the day, you have the option also to close the position, and that's what I personally like to do in my trading. So at a specific time, for me it's like 18 p.m. or 6 p.m. for example for a USD Japanese yen, then I just close the position. Can be a profit, can be a loss. I mean, on a single day it's more or less random, but over a long period of time it should be, or it was profitable in the last years. Cannot speak for the future, of course. And on the next day we pretty much just start all over again. And you can use this strategy, this Expert Advisor, in any market you like. And for this reason, we need a lot of flexibility with the inputs, because not every market can be traded with the same inputs. So we see the settings here in the tester, or I can also like activate it on a normal chart. So you can see here, this is the Range Breakout EA. At the moment when I record this video, it's version 1.40, and here are all of the settings that are currently available. So you can see it's quite a lot. So let me go through these settings, and then we can do one or two more tests maybe to see how this works. So we do have the time frame for the range calculation. I would recommend to always keep this at 1 minute. You maybe want to change this if you want to do long-term backtest in the strategy tester and you do not have 1 minute data for the past years. Then you might want to go to 5 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever is necessary, or for whatever time frame you have the data. But in general, I would always use 1 minute if possible. Especially in live trading, you should always stick to 1 minute. Then volume or trading volume. Here we have a bunch of options now, and this is also kind of new because we can trade with a fixed lot size, we can trade with a like managed lot size, we can trade with a risk in percent, and we can trade with or risk a set amount of money for every single trade. So how does it work? Fixed volume is very easy. We just use the fixed lots for every single trade. So if I put 0.2 here, we trade 0.2 lots for every single trade. It's really that simple. Then volume managed. Here we need these two inputs. So what we do is we say we trade the fixed lots, but for every, in this case, 1,000 euro or US dollar, whatever your account currency is in your account. So let's assume that, let's have a look at my demo account here. I have 12,500 US dollar. So if I use this volume managed lot calculation, then it would trade 0.01 lots for every 1,000 euro in my account. So assuming we do have these 12,000 US dollar, it would mean that we trade 12 times 0.01 lots, which would be 0.12 lots for every single trade. If this is complex for you, the best way to figure out how it works is to use this expert advisor and these settings in the strategy tester. That's what I always recommend, to figure out how a specific setting works and to get a good feeling for it. This brings us to the next, which is the volume percent. Here we have a risk percentage of the balance. So let's assume our balance is 12,500. Then we would take 0.5% of this, which is 12,500, 0.005. So we would risk 62 US dollar and 50 cents roughly for every trade. Of course, it's not exactly this number because there are some, like, sometimes the lot size has to be rounded, sometimes the commission also makes the loss a little bit bigger, but it's around this level. And then we do have the volume money, and here we need the next input, which is risk money. It's pretty easily explained. Like if we choose volume money, we just want to risk 50 US dollar on every single trade, or whatever you put here. If you put 100, you would risk 100 US dollar for every single trade. So these are the volume settings. Then we have the order buffer points, which means that if we choose any value greater than 0, the stop orders that we saw in the simulation before are not placed exactly at the upper or lower end of the range, but instead with a little margin. We could say we want to put it like 10 points above or below the range. And 1 point, by the way, in MetaTrader terms, so to say, is always the smallest price change. That is possible pretty much. So, or the smallest price change in the last digit after the decimal point. So let's assume US dollar Japanese yen has 3 digits after the decimal point. Then 1 MetaTrader point would be 0.001. And for Euro US dollar, it would be 0.00001 because it has 5 digits after the decimal point. Then let's have a look at the next settings. Here we now have the TP settings and the stop loss settings. For TP and stop loss, we can always choose out of these options. We can choose calculation mode off, which means we do not place a TP or stop loss. I do not recommend to trade without a stop loss, but it's your money, so you're free to do whatever you want. So we can turn off the TP and the stop loss by using calculation mode off. We can define the TP and the stop loss based on a factor of the current range. Like if the current range is 100 points big, then the calculation mode factor would take the value that is here for the target value, and it would multiply the range with this value. So if this is 2, for example, and we use calculation mode factor, then the TP is 2 times the range of the current day. And again, if this is confusing to you, just try it out in the strategy tester. There's no money to lose in the strategy tester, and it will help you to easily understand all of this. Then we have calculation mode percent, and this is important. We again take this target value input, but here now this means that it is a percentage of the current market price. So for example, if you're talking about a buy stop order and the buy stop is at like 100, I don't know, like whatever currency or index or stock this is, like if it is at 100 and you have calculation mode percent and 2 as an input here, then it would be 2% of 100. So the TP would be at 102 pretty much, like 2% of the current market price. And for buy stop orders, we take the range high as a basis for this calculation. For sell stop orders, we take the range low of the day as a basis for this calculation. And then we have the calculation mode points. These are the same points that I explained before. So for example, if we have USD Japanese yen with 3 digits after the decimal point and we add a input of 200 here, it would mean that, like in price terms, this would be a distance of 0.2, because 200 times 0.001, which is 1 point in USD Japanese yen, would be 0.2. And for euro-US dollar, it would be 0.002, because a point in euro-US dollar is 0.00001. Again, try it in the tester to figure it out. Then for the calculation or for the stop calculation mode, we have exactly the same inputs. Like we can choose to not use the stop loss, we can use to have it as a factor, as a percent, or as absolute points. And yeah, that's how the TP and stop loss settings work. Then we have probably the most important settings for this specific strategy. We have the time settings. Here we can define the range. So we always define points and time using two inputs. Like this is for the range start time. We have the hour and the minute, like 0 and 0 would mean midnight pretty much. And then for the range end hour, for example, this example would mean 7:30 a.m. And then we have the delete hour, which is 18, and the delete minute is 18 and 0, which means 6 p.m. And it means that if the orders are not executed by this point, they will be deleted. Then we also have the option to close open positions at a specific point in time throughout the day. And here, again, by default, it's just 18 and 0, so 6 p.m. But you can change all of these values so it fits your symbol, your strategy, and your idea of what you want to trade exactly. If you say close positions should be false, then you can also carry trades into the next day, for example, if they are not closed in TP and SL. And a good way to close positions in profit on the next day, for example, would be to use the trailing stop losses. And here we have two options: the break-even stop, which means that if the price is a specific amount of points or percent in profit, we then move the stop loss to break even. And we can decide to use this break even stop if we use any other mode than TSL mode off, because TSL mode off means that this trailing stop loss is not used at the moment. But if we use percent or points, we can then use these two lines or inputs here, like the trigger value and the buffer value for break even stop, for example, to define how exactly it should look like. Let's say we use percent, then we could say if the price is 0.5% in profit, and again, the calculation here is based on the actual price of the market. So here for the trading stop loss, it would be 0.5% of the position open price, and then it would be placed 0.05% above the position open price if this break even stop loss is triggered, or below the position open price for sell positions, of course. Then we also have a traditional trailing stop loss, which is trailing the stop loss if the price goes more and more into profit. And here we can also choose percent and points. Calculation is the same as I explained multiple times now. And the trigger value will say that, for example, also after 0.5 or 0.6 or 0.7 percent in this case, in profit, we would activate this trailing stop loss, and then we trail in this distance after the current price. We could say if the price is 0.7% in profit, again, based on the position open price, we want to trail in a distance of 0.1% after or behind the current price. And then we have a TSL step value, which would mean, like, for example, if we use the TSL mode percent, we could use 0.05, which means that the TSL is, or the stop loss is only modified if it is then 0.05% better or more in profit than the previous stop loss. This is necessary, or can be necessary, because some brokers do not want you to send too many signals or too many orders. And yeah, if your broker limits like the request that you can send to the server, you maybe want to add a value here like 0.05% or 0.01 also. Just play around with this. Then we have the trading frequency. Here we can decide to trade 1 buy trade, 2 buy sell trades, and 4 trades in total, or 3 trades in total, or 2 trades in total. Like you can see, you have all of the possibilities here. You can like use any combination And this is just, if you want to use multiple trades on the same day or multiple trades into the same direction, you can use these trade frequency settings for exactly this. Then we have the range filter settings, again in points and percent. Here we do not have to choose one because we can also use both. For example, if you say, for example, the range should be at least 100 points, but also at least 0.1%, then you can do it like this. And if you want to disable these range filters, you can just put 0 and 0 for the minimum and very big numbers for the maximum. And how does it work? The range on this or on every single day is just created normally with the times, and then when the range is finished, the expert advisor will check the size of the range, like if it is at least X points and the maximum of X points, or if it is at least X% or a maximum of X%. So this is how the range filter works. If the range is either too small or if it is too big, we do not trade on this day. Then there's just no order, no trade placed on this specific day. Then we have some more settings. You can say what color the range should be like. And then we have a comment for the orders that the expert advisor places. We do have the magic number, and this is very important. Like the magic number setting is very important for every expert advisor, because if you use multiple expert advisors in the same account, please use a different magic number for every expert advisor. It is not important what this number is, but it should be unique for every expert advisor in this account. There are very few exceptions only of this rule. If one expert advisor, for example, should manage the trades of another expert advisor, you maybe want to use the same magic number, but as a general rule, normally you always want to use a different magic number, because, for example, what expert advisors do, and also the range breakout expert advisor, if your computer, for example, crashes or you have to restart the MetaTrader, then the expert advisor will use this exact magic number, which is stored for every single trade that is there in your account, and it will figure out which specific trades belong to this exact expert advisor by using the magic number. This is why it is so important. Then we can say if you want to display the little chart comment in the upper left corner of the chart, and if you want to activate the debug mode, if you activate the debug mode, you have some more information in the expert's journal, but in most cases it's not necessary. It can be necessary if you have a specific problem or issue with the expert advisor, then might be helpful to figure out what the problem is, but in general you can use the debug. You do not have to use the debug mode. So let me give you some more examples now maybe of how we can use these settings. Like for example, here we can say we want to use a risk that is in percent, and to make it easier, I will go here to the 15 minutes time frame, and I will also use 1 minute open, high, low, close price calculation. This will not give like super accurate results, but it helps you to easily understand how the functions work, and we don't have to wait so long. Then you can see if I use volume percent here, I can use a risk percentage of balance, which could be like 0.5, just the default value, or 1% to make it easy to calculate this. If we use volume percent here, all of these other lines are not really important. Like the fixed lots are ignored, the fixed lots per X money are ignored, and also the risk money is ignored. If we use a volume percent, only risk percentage of balance is important. But if we use, for example, some of these other options, the other inputs might be important. Then we can say we want to place the order like, let's say 20 points above and below the range. We have the calculation mode for the TP, and let's say, for example, we want to have it let's say 500 points in profit. And then we have the calculation mode for the stop loss. We can use the factor, that's my like default setting, but you can use whatever you want. You can say like I want to have it like 1% of the range high or range low. And then we can change the time range. We could say we want to go from like 3 in the morning to 8:30. So you can just play around with this, and then you can say, for example, you want to delete the orders at 14 p.m. or like which is 2 p.m. if they are not executed, and you want to close at 6 p.m. And then we can use trading stop loss. Let's use the break even stop loss in points, and let's use the TSL in percent. So here we can say if it is like 0.5% in profit, we want to trail in a distance of 0.1%, and the step should be 0.05. And you can also say I want to have 2 buy trades, 2 sell trades, and 2 trades in total. And you could use the range filter. Yeah, let's not use the range filter for now, but maybe let's change the color here because I don't want to confuse you too much here. And yeah, if I use all of these settings, we can see how this turns out. So again, I will use a test, and then you can see like here the range now is from 3 to 830 because these are my inputs for the range now. And then as you can see here, like the orders are also placed a little bit above and below the range, and this is because I used the buffer points here. It should be 20 points. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to figure it out with the crosshair here, but it should be accurate. So 20 points above and below the range. So you have a little puffer for fake breakouts. And here we can see the first sell order was executed already, but we still see the buy stop order. This is because I changed the trade frequency settings. In the test before, the second order was executed or removed immediately. And here we can also see that after the first order hit the stop loss, or the break-even stop in this case, we open another position because we use a maximum of 2 sell trades. I mean, this combination of inputs would not really make a lot of sense, I think, because if you close the position in the break-even stop, it does not really make a lot of sense to open another position immediately. But yeah, I mean, you can play around with this. And yeah, after the second trade is executed, now the buy order is removed because I said I want to have a maximum of 2 trades. Then also, let's have a look at the stop loss. You can see stop loss here is 1%. A little bit over 1%. I think I have to adjust this calculation here. So it should be calculated from the position open price. I think right now it is, I mean, I don't know what is correct here. Maybe I leave it as it is. I think right now the calculation, the stop loss is based on the range low. Like from the range low, we go 1% up. And this is like 1.05% now from the position open price because it's a little bit below the range because of the buffer. But yeah, I think I would just leave it as it is. So the range calculation or the stop loss and TPS calculation are done based on the range high and low always. And yeah, then after the day, when the trades are closed, yeah, we just wait for the next day and then pretty much do the same thing. Here you can see only 1 sell position was executed, but still there are no open orders, and this because they also get deleted at the order delete time, which happened here at 2 p.m. And then yeah, we just wait for the order to hit TP and stop loss, or TP or stop loss. And now I also want to show you how we can use the trailing stop loss. So let me say, for example, I don't want to use the TP. I think by now we understand how it works. Then also we can use volume manage, for example, here. And TSL is fine. Yeah, let's just use 1 order on each side. And I think here I also want to disable the break-even stop loss. So we are the break-even trading stop. So we can only close positions with this TSL, like the traditional trading stop loss. And what I will also do is I will go to the settings and switch to every tick based on the real ticks. And one more thing I want to change is I want to say like the TSL mode %, like the trigger should be maybe 0.2 only. And then we have a distance of 0.2 also, because then it's easier for me to demonstrate this in the strategy tester. So here you can see there is a position and it hit the 0.2% in profit. And then if we see here, I mean, I don't want to do the calculation, but it should be 0.2% after or behind the current price. And then this hit the stop loss. I hope I can show you another example. Like this position is it's not going to profit, unfortunately. There's a buy. Oh, there we wait. Let me show you on another day. Like here, this for example, like this buy trade is still open, and now as the trade goes more and more into profit, it will trail the stop loss in a distance of 0.2%. Yeah, just behind the current market price, and this is how the like traditional trailing stop loss works. And yeah, I hope this little video was was good to help you understand how the range breakout expert advisor works now in the latest version. So there are really so many options, and I hope that this is not confusing, but I always received messages and requests like, can you add this option, can you add that option, and now I wanted to create like a version that really has a lot of different options, which gives you like the best possible flexibility and helps you to hopefully trade all of the strategies that you have in your mind with this specific expert advisor. So yeah, I hope you want to use this. I hope you can use this for your trading, and make sure, again, I can only repeat myself here, make sure to use the strategy tester a lot, especially before trading live, so you really understand how the different functionalities of this expert advisor work and how it will impact your trading account, your trading profits or losses. That's important. So thanks for watching. Have a great time and fun using this expert advisor, and hopefully a lot of good trades to you.